yesterday.
Oh man, that's
At their respective schools, of course.
Right.
the early
Somewhere.
bird, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely what the early bird is all about. I'm looking at my screen here. A few things puzzling me. I have to get them fixed here in a minute. But Brett not with us today. Lenny in here with us. You know, I'm just thinking about some of the things going on this morning in the world of sports. It's kind of a busy time. It's a packed time, especially with high school championships. You know, going down. Baseball, softball.
2 area teams involved.
Yeah, and tell me this is. I think I'm right about this too. The soccer championships have not been.
I don't think
The girls' soccer championships have not been played yet as well. No, I don't have local teams. That's why I'm not exactly sure. But East Lincoln, we got to hand it to the East Lincoln Lady Mustangs, a big winner last night, 2-1 over Rockingham County in the
What a
third and
series.
deciding game. Yeah.
3 games decided by a single run.
Yep. Well, 3 runs. If
3
you will.
runs, yeah. Right. 3 1-run
There
games.
you go. That would be tight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If they were won by .33.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're exactly right, Mike. And I'm sure that East Lincoln, after winning the first game in 8 innings by 1-0 score, thought they had it sewn up in game 2 when they had a 4-0 lead. Did you realize they had a 4-0 lead in that game too, but let it slip away?
No, I did not know that.
That was at Rockingham County. They actually won it on a 2-run walk-off homer in the bottom of the 7th inning. Then last night, this game was scoreless till the bottom of the 5th. East Lincoln got 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th and then hung on, and I mean hung on, at the end of that game yesterday as Rockingham County had the bases loaded, scored a run, still had the bases loaded with 1 out, but back-to-back strikeouts ended the game.
Now that's drama.
It is.
Yes.
It is. And that's what you'd expect, though, when you get this far, and you expect probably the same in the finals. Now, I did read yesterday who they'll play in the finals, but it's slipping my mind right now. I want to say I looked at everybody from the East, so I want to say the 3A softball was South Johnston and South Granville. I've got something wrong there. Something don't add up. I don't think it's those two that's playing each other right now, although it might be. But we'll try to look that up here in a break.
Let's put this in perspective. I can't remember when's the last time a Lincoln County softball team made it to the championship series. West Lincoln made it.
They did make it, and that's been, 10 years ago?
Yep.
It hadn't been quite that long.
Not quite 10?
Because that was when Cherryville won. I went to the Cherryville game, and I drove by. Y'all was in Greensboro.
We were in Greensboro.
It was in
It's
Greensboro.
probably been 8 years ago.
And I've been sitting here talking to Lanny before y'all got here and been doing a little praying for Greensboro again.
Yeah, love to have Greensboro.
Against Zebulon.
Oh, yeah.
For several reasons. But, yeah, that would be nice. But last night, 2-1 win after East Lincoln scored. They held off the Lady Cougars.
Lady Cougars of Rockingham
County. Don't get that confused. I've heard so many people when you talk about it say Rockingham. I said, yeah. No, they're not playing Richmond County. I promise you, they're not playing a 4A team. But what I wanted to do, and I never got the time to do it this week, was look up the year that the East Lincoln Athletic Department has had, the school year. And it's been pretty phenomenal.
I think it's pretty much unparalleled.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if a school in the state of any size can match what they've done.
This academic year, this school year.
Yep. I mean, because go back to fall, they won the state in 3A football.
Which is that's the big jewel there.
Girls basketball was undefeated until they lost in the Western Regional semis, right?
Final?
Was it? Yeah. Okay, it was the Western
Two
final.
eventual
So they were
champions.
playing to go to the state in that.
Yeah,
They did.
Lost to eventual champion West Rowan.
West Rowan.
Yep. And then soccer went deep, boys and girls. Yep. Soccer went deep. So they've had quite a run. They've really had quite a run in athletics. And all coming in their second year of 3A.
I know.
You know, I mean, not as a 2A school anymore, but getting it done on the 3A level as well. But
we've often talked about 2A and 3A as far as competitiveness
right.
at the state level, the playoff level.
Yeah. They're pretty close. They're pretty close to the same. I would think that the teams, you could take some 2A teams and win that occasionally. You could take some 3A teams, obviously, and win the 2A as well. But just what they've done though as a whole for the entire school year is just I don't know if they'll ever match that again. And I told Lanny before you guys got here, the Rockingham County team, they'll be back. They'll be back sometime because their pitcher is a ninth grader. Lanny's already got the site.
Well, they haven't announced who's going where. That's the
that's
sites.
just the sites, yeah.
And it's Friday and Saturday.
Yep, Friday and Saturday. Duke, NC State, UNC Greensboro, and Western Alamance High. So, yeah. Oh, that's who they're playing, yeah. Western Alamance. Thank you. So I see I was looking at a different break. Who did Western Alamance beat? Was it Johnston? South Johnston. Okay. I knew that's what I thought. I had one of the schools right, but the other one I had wrong by memory. So it's Western Alamance.
They shut them out. 5-0, 2-0.
5-0 and 2-0. Oh, you know what that means? Dominant pitching. Yeah. That's what gets you. That's what gets you to these places. And East Lincoln's had a phenomenal year out of their senior, Leah Correll, who's I'd hate to see how many innings she's piled up. Because there's no limit in the softball pitching for now. No limit on how many pitches you can throw, how many innings you can throw.
The Gaston College team had a pitcher. She was 24-0, and then she pitched one of the games in the College World Series. So, they pitch them and pitch them and pitch
So it's the same way at the college level. You can throw as many as you want.
Yep.
So, Mike, our chances are 25% to be in Greensboro. Obviously with 4 sites.
We're familiar with that.
Sometimes
stadium.
they played just 2 sites, so I'm a little surprised. This is so they can just do it on 2 days, though, Friday and Saturday. So I'm guessing you play 1 on Friday and then 2 if needed on Saturday. East Lincoln. So how many runs did they give up in those 3 games?
0.
1.
5 runs in 3 games.
Was it?
6 runs.
6, 5, and 1.
Yeah, pretty impressive there as well. I looked here this morning at some of the top headlines. There's not a whole lot. We'll get into the wide receiver who seems to be on the market right now, and DeAndre Hopkins. But I looked at have you been watching any of the college softball, Lanny?
Okay.
Lanny usually watches. He forgot it was on. I didn't watch any. I didn't know they'd already started the super regionals. But it looks like this could possibly be a future 8 of the football teams in the 16 team playoff or whatever we're going, 8 of the 12. But because the first game from yesterday was Oklahoma beating Clemson. Yep. Be no surprise to see those in the football playoffs. 9-2, Oklahoma wins that.
Yeah, so I watched a little bit of it, and the girl hit a grand slam. That game was actually 4-2 at the time.
That one being played in Oklahoma, I'm sure, because they're the number 1.
Yep, at their stadium.
See, and there it is. It says Norman Super Regional. Then the next one is Florida State and Georgia. Two good football programs as well. Now, one of these, that was Florida State beating Georgia yesterday 4-2 in the first game of that one down in Tallahassee.
No, that was game 2.
Florida was it game 2?
They punched
it's
their
over.
ticket.
Yeah, it's over. You're right. I didn't realize
As
some
they
of them.
say, punched your ticket.
That's odd, isn't it? Because 3 of them played game 1.
I know.
And 1 played game 2. So I'm guessing they didn't play 2 yesterday, right? They would have played on Thursday night as well. Now, one of these is a little far-fetched here to get into the college football playoffs, but Alabama lost yesterday to Northwestern. So, Alabama has no shot of getting in the football play. No, I'm kidding. Northwestern may not have a shot. But you know what? They may with the new 12 team. If you win the Big Ten, if you're able to win it, I'm going to say you punch your ticket I'll put it this way. Year after next, they'll have a lot better chance of making it than they do right now, than they do with the current system. And then there's Utah playing in the other softball game. Good football program.
Against a good basketball program.
Yeah.
San Diego State.
Probably the least likely of those 8 schools that we just mentioned to make the football playoffs. Although one Marshall Faulk would argue against us, right? Is that the most famous alumni?
Yeah, in my view.
Well, since I can't name another one,
well, now
I'm going to go with that one.
My Dukies, they were also in it. They dropped their first game to Stanford in the Super Regionals, 3-1.
Okay, I wonder why that one's not.
If you'll click where it says "Show All" or all the scores, you can see the
okay.
other games.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say show off.
Well, following your football analogy, Texas versus Tennessee.
There you go.
Texas,
There you go.
5-2.
It continues, right?
Yeah.
Duke and Stanford. I could see Stanford making it before Duke, although Stanford football has been down.
Oh yeah.
For some time lately. Did their coach survive?
Is David Shaw still there?
Did he survive this past season?
I don't think he is fired, but did he maybe?
I got nothing
step
against
down?
him.
I thought he stepped
It does
down.
seem like he maybe
down.
stepped down on his own.
To maybe join a pro team.
Yeah, I
as an
believe that's
assistant?
where I seem like he.
So,
But
okay,
I
I
might
don't know
be-
how we got there, but at Stanford, we don't even know yet if they have. I don't know yet if they've named a replacement. Surely they have.
And maybe
I
he's
mean,
still there. But
usually you do that within a week.
I'm like Mike. Seemed like he latched on for pro team.
That's what I thought.
Seemed like, but I'm.
Texas and Tennessee, well, they'll be future SEC rivals soon, won't they?
It'll be the burnt orange against the
Yeah, what would you call that?
the
not
Tennessee orange.
Tennessee orange. That's a different shade.
It
of
is.
orange.
It is. It's a little brighter
Yeah.
than the especially brighter than the burnt orange. But yeah, 5-2 Tennessee yesterday over Texas, and that one Northwestern defeated Alabama 3-1 in their contest, and it was Stanford, as Mike said earlier, defeating Duke by a score of 3-1. I'm just wondering, how did they? Duke went in as an 8 seed.
Is hosting that.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're the 8 against the 9. So where did they finish in the ACC? I'm guessing Florida State, since they're a 3 seed overall, that they were the conference champion. Am I fair? Is it fair to say that, or Clemson was a?
Well, Duke was 48-10. Florida State 53-9.
And well, in Clemson, I know last week they were hosting before the Super, a regional.
Yeah, but they're a 16 in this. They are the
Yeah.
16 out of
Clemson is.
16. Yeah,
Because I know I went down to the baseball game and they were playing softball and baseball at the fields are adjacent to each other, and they were playing last weekend.
that would be neat, wouldn't it? Have both going on at one time. Washington defeated Louisiana. That's the Huskies of Washington 8-0 in the. Let's see, that was game 1 of that one. Since there's a full scoreboard here, I have to check close. There may be some other schools that have played.
Yeah, well, Oklahoma State defeated Oregon 9-0, and they win the series.
Okay, so that one's over.
That one's over.
Florida State and Georgia. You mentioned it earlier, Mike. You corrected me saying that it was game 2 in that Florida State and Georgia, and that makes me wonder: could the impending weather have caused them to move it up a day? But now, who did you say the other one was? What other one is finished?
Oklahoma State defeated Oregon. They're in.
I don't think that tropical depression or whatever's going to make it that
Staggered
far.
a little bit for TV purposes.
Probably
I
is
don't
for
know.
TV.
Yeah.
Probably is for TV, which means they probably showed a
The
couple games on Thursday.
The Cowgirls advance to the World
Cowgirls.
Series. Cowgirls.
They might not want to be called that.
Well, I think that's
According
the
to
name.
the way you look at it, right? They might not want to be called the Cowgirls.
I've seen that in print, though, Cowgirls. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I like it. Don't get me. I like it.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like
that
it.
name.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. We talked about it last week in the high school. Inca, still known as the Sugar Jets,
Jets.
and as a matter of fact, they're so known that they're jerseys.
Say Sugar Jet.
No, they don't.
No,
Sugar.
just sugar.
I saw a photo of a jersey, unless it's got Jets on the back,
Right.
and I don't think it did. I
I
think
like
it just
that.
said
Sugar on the front.
sugar on the front is exactly what it had on there.
Sugar and spice and all things nice.
How far does we better stop Mike now.
Yeah.
Stop,
Shut me up.
How far is any of the softball playoffs must-watch TV for you guys? Does it have to get to the World Series before it's must-watch TV? Is it still not must-watch? Does it have to be the finals?
It's on my radar once they get to
Once they get to
the World Series.
And I think it's every bit as exciting, if not more, than the baseball.
I
The
enjoy
games
softball.
don't last that long. You're looking at an
Don't
hour and a
last as long.
half.
Hour and a half.
There's less. The biggest difference in it is there's less pitches taken
That's right.
than in baseball. I mean, in baseball it's take till you get it,
Yeah.
and in softball they're up
You
there
don't
aggressive.
usually get too many 3-2 counts.
No,
No.
they're up there hacking. They
Up
put
there
it in
hacking
play.
or bunting, just dragging the ball, just trying to push it.
And
get on
what
base.
percentage of the game would you say is played on the infield?
I'd say 75% of
That's
it.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Was about 75%,
Yeah.
which makes it more entertaining.
Mhm.
You know, there's not a lot of fly ball outs.
No.
Because just about every play in the infield's close
Close,
at
yeah.
first
Oh, yeah.
base. It's not, it's
Well,
nothing to give me.
Even a hard grounder at short is a close play at
It's a
first.
close play.
Yeah.
You only got 60
Yeah.
feet to go.
Yep.
So yeah, every play is bang bang.
It's got to be bang bang. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more bunting.
The low
In it
bunting is key in
Yep.
softball.
Just wondered what you guys' thoughts was.
I like the game.
I do
I
too.
do too.
I do
I-
too.
I
But
hadn't got to watch a whole lot here,
I-
but
well, like I said, I should have realized that the super regionals were starting. I don't know why I didn't.
well, I
but
should have
I
too after
should've.
last week,
Right.
knowing I didn't realize the
Right.
regionals, and when I was out there,
Yeah.
wow, here's the baseball still playing conference games, and they're already to the regionals.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
to the point where I don't know when you have. Shouldn't even say this, but when you have so many channels, sometimes you just don't check them
But
out.
I guess that's part of it, playing it early,
choices.
because the baseball's coming right
Wants
behind
to
it,
be
and they
front
want to
and
be ahead
center.
of, you know.
They want to be well ahead of them.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they don't play the World Series at the same time either, do they?
No.
Aren't they staggered?
No, the college World Series hadn't even started till next
Yeah.
week.
next week.
This is the first round. This the regionals.
Yeah.
Right. And this
Whereas the
this'll
softball
end-
World Series will probably start next weekend.
Probably
right?
next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
In Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, it does. I agree. They should be staggered. You wouldn't want a team with two
Right.
No.
a school with two teams
No.
in there and not get to some of the people not get to go to both.
Also, yesterday, OU tied a record held by Arizona in the 90s, 47 straight wins.
That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot. But
Mhm.
does that put pressure on them though? Or
Do they really? I don't know.
I don't know. You know.
Players say they don't feel the pressure. They're just looking at each game. But you got to
You
think
gotta
about
feel
it.
like it's
so what's their record on right now on this season?
50-some-1.
So they did lose a game.
They did
this
lose
year.
a game.
That takes a
Baylor.
little bit off
They
then.
lost a game to Baylor
you
by
said
4-3 score.
47.
Must have been the fourth.
They probably played in some kind of early preseason
They lost to
national
Baylor.
tournament.
They
yeah.
lost to Baylor.
Okay.
Yep, that was their one loss.
Wow. Well, I don't see Baylor's name mentioned in any of these regionals either. So, I think that helps eliminate some of the pressure, knowing it's not a zero
Right.
over there in that loss column. That would make things just a little differently.
You know, it's sports. I'd say, yeah, they say no pressure, but I think it would be a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, you know, that's whether it's
Yeah, because that's history. That's
You don't want to mess it up.
right.
You just
Exactly.
you don't want to mess up the perfect season or whatever. And I was looking on here to see, since we talked about them and their record, who else had the dynamite records here, and really Florida State's 53-9. That's the closest I've seen so far.
Yeah, that's a heck of a
To-
record.
It is a great record, but it's nothing like whatever and one.
Oklahoma's 54-1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've got another school here and I'm just overlooking it or not, but everybody has double-digit losses except for those two that I see anyway.
And then
Okay, yeah, and speaking of dynasties
Number two might not.
in college, I'd say OU has one in softball.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
yeah, I agree.
Won 2 out of the last 2, 4 out of the last 6. What's the next best dynasty in college sports?
In college sports,
Yeah.
dynasty.
Is there one other than softball?
Well,
we could say Alabama
if you're
until
getting in the lesser sports, you know, at
There are some. You'd have
field
to-
hockey at Carolina, women's field hockey. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what they've won
Duke
10 out of 12 or
Duke
whatever.
lacrosse has been
Well,
really
look,
good.
I was going to say if you see them, it's going to be in lacrosse or field hockey or
Oh,
maybe
okay.
soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer.
And women's soccer, I think, more than
Yeah,
men's.
women's soccer, yeah.
Where you see.
How about hockey? Just regular hockey.
But-
does anybody? No, I wonder.
Still, the biggest dynasty though of our generation, and I'm not going back to UCLA, but UConn women.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
That's
UConn
right.
women's basketball. I
They
mean,
won
that's,
what 8 or 9 straight. So,
I don't know.
Not quite
but-
as many as Wood's UCLA
Not as many as Wood,
team.
but they were.
Well, now his record, what was it for in a row? It wasn't 8 or 9, was I thought
11.
Was it 11 in a
Was
row?
11 or,
UCLA.
So, some reason I had
no,
7 on my mind.
He skipped a year because
NC
David
State got
Thompson
him.
and NC
Yeah,
State beat
State
him in
won, and he-
74
And then he come out and finished out his career
75
in
and
75
retired.
with
and retired.
yeah.
So as far as college dynasties, yeah, with the exception of UCLA, UCLA is probably the best, I guess,
Wow.
of
UConn
anything.
women-
But UConn women have
Well, the Tennessee
done it in
Lady
the modern
Vols,
era. They had a good
they
run,
were,
but
they had a good run.
they had a good run, but they weren't UConn's.
No, they weren't. Not like UConn.
Not that level.
In football, it's just really hard to do. Alabama, I guess,
UCLA was either 6 or 7 in a row.
was
Because,
it 6 or 7 in a
well,
row?
I know they won one with Gail Goodrich, but I
That's
don't remember
right.
when it was. But
I think
now,
that was around 64.
but-
7 is what came to
now,
my
But
mind
now they
as
won,
far as
they
in a
won
row.
3 with Abdul
Alcindor.
Alcindor because freshmen couldn't play.
That's
And
right.
then they had next year they won, but that was pre-Wooden. I mean pre-Walton.
Walton. It went.
And
How
then
many
they
they win
won
with Walton?
3, I think.
No, I think it was
we're
just
freshmen
2.
eligible yet.
Walton was on the team that lost to NC State.
Yeah.
in the
He was on
semis.
one of the teams that lost.
That's the reason I was asking. We're freshmen eligible when
I'm not
it come
sure.
in there in the 70s, but I'm not sure.
Well,
Well, we know it
Thompson
was-
did play at State as a
Thompson didn't play, and
Wouldn't be.
Alcindor didn't
freshman.
Wouldn't
play.
be
Alcindor
in
didn't
there.
play.
So Walton won 2,
Yep.
Yeah.
Walton won 2.
Yeah.
That underachiever.
and the buffer between Walton and Alcindor was the Sidney Wicks, Curtis Rowe, John Valley,
That's
UCLA
right.
team. They were
Um,
that would have been like
How about
7.
Lynn Shackelford? Which one? The
I believe his
outside
even a little
shooter.
earlier, I believe.
Earlier, yeah.
What was the longtime coach that played? There were probably a couple of coaches that played on some. Did Bibby?
Henry
play-
Bibby
Henry
played.
Henry
Bibby's
Bibby.
one.
He was on the Gail Goodrich team.
And there was another. Seemed like there was another one too. That
Walt Hazard.
Walt Hazard
Walt
was
Hazard.
exactly who I was
Walt
trying to
Hazard.
think
He might
of.
have played with
Walt Hazard.
Goodrich and them, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was thinking Bibby played with.
And they destroyed Duke in the finals
Yeah.
one year,
Yeah.
coached by Vic Bubas. So
they
remember that.
Yeah, very few teams got in their way that they couldn't handle.
And they destroyed Carolina. A couple years later, Alcindor.
Which team did they beat that had Artis Gilmore?
That was the
Jacksonville?
69, I believe.
The Jacksonville Dolphins.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Dolphins.
Were-
Artis Gilmore.
Weren't they the Dolphins, or
The
still
Dolphins,
still
yeah.
the Dolphins?
And
Artis
flamboyant Joe Williams is the coach, who went on to Furman after that, and Florida State.
Artis Gilmore played at Gardner Webb.
Artis Gill.
He did. Now, how did that work? He played at Gardner Webb prior
It was a JUCO.
to going.
JUCO
at
at
that
the
It was a
time.
JUCO at the
And then
time.
He
Okay.
transferred to
Transferred
Jacksonville.
to Jacksonville.
Yep. I knew you couldn't. Yeah. Well, this day and time, you might play 4 years at two different schools.
I don't remember. I don't remember Gilmore playing at Gardner Webb, but I do remember
Yeah.
playing that year at Jacksonville
Do you?
in the final.
I remember
do remember that
Final.
game.
I remember watching a little bit of that
Final
game.
Four.
I couldn't have
That's
told you
what
who
I remember.
who was. I couldn't tell you any of the players in it, but I do remember watching a little bit of that game. But yeah, I've just always heard my whole life about Artis Gilmore playing at Gardner Webb.
Gardner Webb.
Do not Gardner Webb. I do
What was
not
he,
remember.
7'3"?
Definitely don't remember it.
7'4"?
Seven.
I went to Gardner Webb's basketball camp, and Artis Gilmore was there.
Was he?
Did you see the hair?
Huh?
Did you see the hair?
Do you still have the afro?
Nope.
Did he not?
David Thompson.
That's what I remember him. That's how I remember seeing him. Monty Tao had a broke arm.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember.
When was that? About 73?
I remember him. I remember him. I remember Tao missing some action. I think with the broken arm
Burleson was
back
there.
in the day. Yep.
Do you guys remember the game? I guess it was in the NCAA tournament. Thompson goes up about 50 inches,
head.
like he came down, hit his head, left the game.
I can tell you who they were
That was
playing.
against Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Was it Pittsburgh?
Came back.
I'm lying then. I couldn't have
believe
told you.
it's
it
Pittsburgh.
was
I believe.
Pittsburgh.
Okay, I thought it
Pittsburgh.
was Providence.
Billy-
So we may have to look that one up.
Billy Knight, I think, was the star for Pittsburgh.
that's
That went on
right.
and played at Pacers in India.
You guys are probably right. Did they ever play Providence in a? In
Now
one?
they may have played them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say.
For some reason, I thought that was
when we
the.
first
And then he
had-
comes back out of the
Providence.
dressing room with the bandage around
Yeah,
his
well, actually,
head.
I think didn't they took him because now you got X-rays in the
Mm-hmm.
arena, but I think they took him to the nearby hospital, and it was second half when he come
Yeah.
back.
Second
Right.
half when he
Wrapped
come
with
back.
his head wrapped. Yeah.
Did he go back in the game?
No, he did
Yeah.
not. He,
Not like Willis Reed.
No.
Yeah, not
Be the
like
proudest
Willis Reed.
bandage you ever
I
had.
think he was just glad to see him
Glad to see
be
him
able to
back.
walk.
But that was a heck of a
because
thing.
they really thought.
I know.
Some people said thought he died.
I
That
know.
was-
Oh,
remember
Lord.
saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Would that be the proudest bandage you ever had?
You know,
Because
and
because you hit your head on the back.
hindsight, you start looking at that, that would have been more than enough reason to bring the dunk back
Mm-hmm.
because he could have grabbed onto something
Yeah. Yeah.
if he had because he got undercut when he went
And
up.
probably should have anyway. If
Yeah.
just go ahead and take the technical foul or whatever. But
The
take
iconic
the
picture
punishment.
from that year was he's going up high with the ball over Bill Walton. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That Walton's trying to block the shot, but he couldn't dunk it. He just had to lift
Just
it
have
over.
to lift it and lay it in alley-oop.
Yeah,
That was their
lay it
play,
over.
the alley-oop.
Yeah.
I got you guys a trivia question, you guys that are older than me, and then we're going to take our first time out. Who coached? I don't know the answer. Okay. Who coached David Thompson at Crest High School? Back in a moment.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flipped through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their mini floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Western Steer Family Steakhouse in Newton has the best food around. Their buffet is like no other. Fried chicken, meatloaf, baked chicken, beef tips with peppers and onions, pintos and macaroni cheese, green beans, yams, and the best salad bar around. Hours of business Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Western Steer Family Steakhouse, 334 Southwest Boulevard, Newton. Call for takeouts at 704-325-3926. Like them on Facebook.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton. Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now's the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10 and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
KL Insurance, Lincoln. Call 704-732-4646 or visit KLinsurance.com for all your insurance needs.
Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincoln. Dr. Cloninger's pedigree originates from his father, mother, and uncle and continues with his brother and cousin. The name is an icon in the field of dentistry. Dr. Cloninger has dedicated himself to his patients and community and continues to lead by example. He has heard his whole life, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to sustain the family name and proceed by offering the best reasonable treatment possible. Dr. John Cloninger III, 904 Doncha Drive in Lincoln. Call 704-735-0765.
Get the old headset back on, right, so we can hear what's going on. Thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk. David Kiever, Mike Paolini, Anthony filling in today for Brett. Appreciate that, as always. And talked a little bit, just everywhere.
Yeah, Brett's gone to Surf City.
Surf City,
USA.
Surfing USA. Yep, well, that all ends. He should be on the return flight, not flight. They're driving. But,
right.
Shortly. So, still can't get over 3-day weekend. Rain predicted all 3 days.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming, and it's a slow mover, isn't it?
50 temperatures.
Low
59
60s.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Now, we still got, what is the date of today? 27th?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've still got 28 to 9:30, 4 more days after today. It's not going to get to 90 today, but I don't see it getting there tomorrow or Monday either. But we could get there. I don't know what to forecast for next week.
They're
But
talking the 80s.
very,
Yeah,
very
you're talking
cool.
low 80s.
Very cool May.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
cool
it
May.
has been.
I'll take it. Hope it's the same in August. But I probably
Dream on.
well. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right. Dream on. Let's get into baseball a little bit. Major League Baseball. Got baseball at every level going on right now.
How about those Burns Bulldogs before we?
Got to give hats off to Burns,
sure.
man. They put a pounding on their
Eden
2A West.
Moorhead.
Yeah, Moorhead High beat them by 7 twice, didn't they? 7-0, 13-6.
Yep.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. So that's
Don't they play
they're scoring some runs.
South Granville?
South Granville.
That's who.
They'll be tough. South
Yeah.
Granville's always good in
program.
softball and baseball.
Yeah.
They're always good in both of
Traditionally
those
strong.
sports. Yeah. I used to go by that. I had one company I worked for. I had meetings in the Raleigh area. A lot of times I go right by South Granville High School every time I went, out in the middle of nowhere. And there's a what is the name of that little community? Something more.
Creedmoor.
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 There you
Of
go.
course.
Creedmoor. Yeah.
My memory of South Granville.
I'm going to ask you. You go ahead. Well, I think I was going to ask you a minute ago. Go ahead. Cherryville.
South Granville played Cherryville in the State 2A Championship Series in 1982.
Okay.
That was when Brad Long and that
Brad
group.
Long, Ken Alexander, Bobby Reynolds.
That's where I remember that Creed Moore.
UNC has recruited some players from the Granville, because I hear that school itself. I'm pretty sure. I don't know exactly which sport, but I remember hearing some of their.
You answered my question, Mike. That's what I was going to ask you.
What year
didn't Cherryville play?
Probably the best team Cherryville has ever had.
Yeah.
Talent wise,
yeah.
It's 7 or 8 kids who went on to play college or some form of professional ball.
No, wait a minute, Mike. Just let me figure this out. Mike said the best team Cherryville ever had talent wise. Which are you calling them an underachiever?
No, they did achieve. They won the state.
Okay.
So
Okay. Then that's
how could they have underachieved?
I don't know. But you said you paused and put talent wise in there, which means.
Well, I'm
you
just
didn't
talking
think
about
so by their accomplishments.
I'm just thinking about the number of guys they had that went on and played at
And
some
David, you
level.
were saying you drove through. Where is that? North of Raleigh? Where is that? Granville County. Where is Granville? Is it north of Raleigh?
Yeah,
Above it?
It is north
I
of
was
Raleigh.
thinking
Yep. It's not too far from those high schools. It's not too far from those Wake Forest and Rollsville and those schools.
I got you.
Richard says, I don't know who the coach of David Thompson was at Crest, but now Lenny did. Lenny whipped that out real quick.
He did.
But he says, do you know who David Thompson's famous first cousin is? And I'm going to be honest. I've heard this recently.
I think I've heard this.
I've heard it, but I
cousin.
don't remember. I can't recall off the top of my head. Don't tell me yet, Richard. Don't tell me yet, because I do remember hearing that, and I don't know why. Why would I have heard that? I mean, when I say recently, I'm talking about like within the last year, something about his famous first cousin. But, Lenny, who was the coach? You knew who the coach was. Ed Peeler. See, and I would have, I mean, obviously, I'd have guessed names all day.
He was still coaching at Crest when I was first started teaching at East Gaston, so that's how I knew the connection.
I think
he just passed away. Hadn't been like in the last year or so. I believe I've seen in the Shelby paper he had passed away.
I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, and I'm definitely not going to call anybody an underachiever. It's not what this question is for. But how deep did they ever go in the playoffs whenever they had Thompson? Do you remember how? I don't either.
I have no idea.
And the playoffs and all that weren't near as publicized as they are today.
I have absolutely
you know everything.
idea.
I don't either. I don't know how deep they went.
And back then, of course, only one team typically went from a conference.
Richard
right?
probably tell you that.
Oh, he would know that.
Yeah, I
have no idea.
And I'm gonna have to get him to tell me here in a minute.
I've heard that. Cousin,
me too.
And I
me too. Yep. Let me ask you this, Richard. Before you tell me who it is, what were they famous for? I wonder if that'll help me get it.
How about Floyd Patterson?
Was it? Well, I don't know.
He was from Waco, was he?
Yeah, that's not a bad.
How about Bobby Bell?
Yeah. Well.
Shelby.
Yeah. Bell was. Yeah. It could have been a cousin, but Bell was quite a bit older, right?
I've heard.
Yeah. We'll see if he sends me the hint.
I've heard. I can't remember.
Here comes Lanny.
Here comes Lanny.
One quick Bobby Bell story.
Yeah.
His nephew was my roommate in the East-West game out of Shelby, Brian. Went to Western Carolina, played football.
All right.
Very quiet guy. When we were in middle school, he blocked every shot I shot because we had to play Shelby, in junior high school. About 3 or 4 years after he got out of school, read an article where he was working in Bobby's restaurant in Kansas City. Got into it with a guy and killed him with a butcher knife in the kitchen. I'm thinking, I went to sleep with this guy in the room for a whole week.
Watch those quiet types.
That's it.
Right. Oh, boy.
Richard says that Thompson's cousin that is famous, he's famous because of his basketball jobs. So,
many basketball
a famous coach is what it tells me, a coach somewhere.
Well.
Now, the first thing that comes to my mind, but this guy, I don't know how famous this guy is. Let me just stop right there. I'm not going to say any more about that. Yeah, but So
Basketball
yeah.
jobs.
Yep. So it has to be somebody that was
Somebody.
that. Well, I mean, what other basketball jobs would there be if he's not a? Could be a GM. Could be famous enough to be a GM as well. If it's NBA jobs, but yeah, I'll have to.
Perry Fuel. No,
That's a football.
Football.
Basketball,
And, yeah,
I think.
I don't remember Perry Fuel ever having a basketball job.
No,
but he did have some good football jobs.
Yeah, he did.
Out of
This guy
South Point.
was just recently NBA coach not too long ago. From that, I don't know if he's from the Cleveland County area or not.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm trying to think.
Well, this doesn't mean
I'm
he
trying to think.
was he from Cleveland County, Richard? Because this doesn't really. You can be cousins with somebody that might live
Yeah,
in
that's
another,
not- that-
in another world. But
Yeah, that
and
Paul Silas.
I don't know.
These are
Maybe
just
so, but I
wild
don't
guesses.
know. Mike Powell guesses Paul Silas. We get AG. I'm guessing that's the initials.
AG.
AG. So that rules out your. Well, that'd be Artis Gilmore. We've been sitting here talking about him.
AG.
That would be Artis Gilmore. Is that correct, Richard? I'll go with Artis Gilmore. Did he have jobs? Of course, you can call a player in the NBA a job.
That's a job.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'd say that's who it is.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Artis coach. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Oh no, we're wrong. We're wrong.
We're
Now
wrong.
my son got it.
He did.
My son got it. He texted me, and Rodney Willis got it. And Rodney's not my son, I can promise you. But they both got this right before Richard sent me the answer.
AG.
And we should know it because I've heard this guy.
Recent NBA
Yeah,
coach.
I've heard this guy.
I can see his face.
I've heard it.
But the AG,
we know him well. We know him well. And he, I'm pretty
Al
sure.
Gentry.
Yeah, Alvin Gentry.
Alvin Gentry.
He went to Cleveland County
That's
schools,
what I
didn't
was
he?
thinking, but I could,
He went
he's
to Cleveland County
yeah,
schools, yeah.
Well, I'll never forget him freezing at the free throw line. Phi Slamma Jamma versus NC State. Remember that one? 83. He was playing for Houston, right?
Mike remembers the negatives, don't he?
All I want to know is he had a chance, like to put Houston up in the game late, and you could see it in his eyes. He missed 2 free throws. They come back down. Wittenberg fires
Was
up.
that Gentry or was that Franklin? I was thinking it was Franklin, Alvin Franklin. But
You may be right.
Ned
I don't
gets
know
it
if it's
as
even
well.
Alvin, but it's
I may be wrong. It may be Alvin Franklin.
But I remember he missed 2 foul shots.
Yeah, I
He
do.
could've-
I do know they had a Franklin on that team.
Okay.
That was there. Yeah.
Wrong Alvin.
Yep. Where did Gentry play college ball? Richard, Ned, Brett, whoever there. Where did he play his college ball? Alvin Gentry's been a head coach.
Yeah, he's been a head
Yeah.
coach.
in the NBA recently.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah.
That was
very recently.
when he said I had a basketball. That's one, but I could not remember his name.
Which would only make sense if he's a cousin of David Thompson, right? Can only make sense for him to be.
You know, and you're talking about maybe I'm sure Richard can tell us. You know, Thompson was great, but he had those Hunt brothers that played at Crest with him. They were good. One of them went on and played at State for a year or so. I don't know if he went along with him. You know, if that was part of the.
Speaking of brothers,
they were two Hunt brothers.
Speaking of brothers in this area and things like that, Brett reminded me a few nights ago of watching the NBA Finals that one of the stars of the Miami Heat is local. Pretty local. Any guesses there?
When you say low, real, how local? North Carolina or like?
Yeah, Western. Borderline Western. Central, I guess. But I'd say more west than east.
Well, I know, but he's a star. Bam Adebayo is one.
And Brad, I want you to send me the name because
Bam
I can't
Adebayo.
right now. I can't think of his
He
last
played at
name.
one of
I
those
just know that I know their
schools.
first names because he's one of twins. Does that help you any? This guy is one of twins.
Oh!
From
That's the Martins, the
Yep.
Martin twins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Played State. Caleb
State.
and,
Caleb is the one on that Miami Heat team.
And
The game I watched, he had 20-some points.
and the other one's still. I think he's still at the Hornets. The other twin.
Although it does appear Boston's going to make history and come back.
Well, look.
And well, it don't look that way. They got to win in Miami first, then they got to win at home where they haven't been nominated either. But
No, they haven't been that great at
it's
home.
good to see them, though. I will say this: it's good to see them claw their way back in to that
put a little
playoff
life
series.
in the series,
Yeah,
for sure.
because Barkley, I love Barkley.
Yeah, I do
And Barkley
too.
will tell you like it is. And Barkley, he said if both these teams play their best, because somebody's talking about that Miami's not playing their best, Boston's starting to play. If they both play the best, he said Boston's going to win.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love Jimmy Butler.
Well, I was coming.
That guy can play, and he plays with all heart when it comes crunch time.
I was coming in this morning. I believe it was on something on the NBA, and that's what I don't remember who. The guy's name was Sam. I don't even know who Sam was, but he was saying it. He said, when Boston plays, they're the best. He said, I think they're the best team in the NBA. That's what he said. But he said Miami has that chip on their shoulder. He said nobody believes in them, and he said that's exactly their motivation.
And they're the 8, and I think we looked up, or somebody looked up last week and said we have had a number 8 win the NBA championship before. I've already forgotten who or whatever that may be. But if Miami could win it, but if I had to bet from this point on, and you can say if Boston wins, would you pick Boston over Denver? I wouldn't. Denver just seems to be clicking. Miami, they're the hot team, or they were at least in the first 3 games of this series and all throughout the playoffs. But would I pick them? No. They've got one thing that the other teams do not have, and that's a joker.
Yep.
They got a wild card.
And Joker is wild.
And he is as steady as a player, not flashy at all, but he is as steady as a player that you'll see.
Is he the best player you've seen who hardly elevates off the ground at all?
Oh, well, put it in that category, he had to be, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
look at it. He never.
Who are you going to compare?
Jumper's not really a jumper.
Who are you going to compare him to? Who was the 7'5" guy years ago? Sean
Bradley.
Yeah, you going to compare him to somebody like that? I mean, he's night and day.
Oh yeah.
Ahead of his game.
Yeah.
He's got.
Plus, he outweighs Bradley by probably
285 pounds.
Probably outweighs him by 50.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know who you can compare it to.
I didn't say he wasn't agile. I'm just saying he doesn't jump.
I know, but I don't even know who to compare him to that would even be in his category of people that can't get off the floor.
There is no,
I mean,
Well,
Shaq was that big, but he could jump.
It's not the same position, but you kind of think like Larry Bird.
Larry Bird was not a great jumper.
That's the one. He wasn't a great jumper, but at the end of the game, he had 18, 19 rebounds. He just knew where to be, position,
and had
Joker
a shot.
Reminds me a little bit of Bird.
Yeah,
reminds me a little bit of Bird.
Yeah, I mean it's
same type of game.
And I don't know. Can you name their starting 5? Because everybody is just so obsessed.
Well, Jamal Murray's a pretty.
He's been key
Jokic,
in these as well.
Michael Porter,
and he needs to be. He needs to be. Murray needs to be consistent.
After those 3, I'm not really
a consistent scorer
because
that's their 2.
I can't name anybody.
That's their 2 bread and butter scorers, though, right there.
We never see him on TV during the regular season because he'll come on till 11 o'clock at night for the most part. And
what gets me is Joker's a point guard, if you want him to be.
Yeah.
I mean, as big as he is, I mean, he's out there playing like a point guard.
Bird played on the wing too.
Yeah, Bird played wherever's needed.
Wherever
we short-handed.
Bird wasn't the quickest guy in the world, but he was a lot quicker than
quicker than the Joker. Yeah.
I mean, Joker's not going to come off a screen and take those turnaround jumpers in your face.
But I think both players have that knowledge of where everybody else is on the floor.
That's right. And Bird and Jokic and Magic, they're better athletes of the 3 in there. But all of them, where do I need to play tonight? Just like Johnson, that played center, when need be. Played shooting when he got in the league. They thought he was a shooting guard. No, you a point guard. A point scorer.
A point scorer, a point shooter.
Yeah.
He did whatever it takes. Joker's about the same way. It's amazing to me. I wonder if we need to look at some of these droughts and some of these teams. This is the furthest Denver's ever been.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what year they became a team, but I know David Thompson played for Denver. Mm-hmm. So it's been a long time.
David Thompson, Bobby Jones
was in the 60s, maybe early 70s. I'm not sure.
I think they became a franchise in the 70s.
I believe in the 70s because they were originally part of the ABA.
Right.
And
when the merge
they were
happened.
one of the teams that came over. And
I would have if you'd have asked me the question straight up, how many times had Denver ever been to the finals? I'd have said I don't know, 2 or 3, but I would have never guessed 0.
No.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed zero that franchise has never been, much less winning one, much less winning a title. They've never even been to the finals.
Yeah, because
till
you know
now.
about Thompson, I think that's when he led the league in scoring, or he lost out on the last day, or because they purposely the last round they went out, let him shoot. They were out of the playoffs,
Really?
And he scored 73, and then George Gervine had a game left, so he come in and scored 57.
But the Iceman?
He scored
The
57
Iceman.
the next day, so he took back the scoring title. That was.
Where did Gervin play college ball?
Did he play college?
Yeah, one of them Michigans.
Did he?
Eastern or Western or
A directional
but
school.
I don't know which one. I would say Eastern, but I don't know.
But not Big Blue or Big Green.
I hope he
Well,
played.
could
for
be
the-
green, but
I hope,
Eastern.
I hope he
Eastern.
played for the Chippewas.
Central.
Michigan.
Chippewa.
That's a good one
Chippewa.
right there, Gervin. Yeah,
But
because
I don't know which one, but it was one of
he was
those.
he was a long time Spur,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Am I
Yeah.
right? Long
Yes.
time San Antonio Spur. In the days before the Spurs were as dominant a franchise as they became
And
under
now
the
they've won
Duncan
the
era.
lottery, and they're going to get the French phenom, right?
Sounds
Probably.
like yes.
Yeah. What if they buck all that and go with somebody else?
Yeah.
And with that, Jason called this. He said, it's funny because the NBA draft order is somewhat predictable when it should never be predictable, right? If it's
supposed to
done
be based on chance.
random,
Random.
yeah, and
Yeah. It's
and
like the Patrick Ewing, wasn't it?
yeah, but
They were bound
it
to
just
determine
seems
he was
to
gonna be
always
in
happen.
New York.
Yeah, this seems to always happen that the teams that have a tie to the player or to the situation or something. This one being something to do with Parker being a French. What was his name? Tony
Tony Parker's connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. But
And Popovich
just
is
so
going to
happens.
continue to coach.
Yeah.
At 77.
Is he?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
More power to him, right?
Yeah.
Yep. How was Larry Naga?
74,
5.
So younger than Pop.
somewhere right in. And
Yeah.
I seen he got a extension to
Yeah.
26, 27.
Oh, yeah.
At least what?
Well, he deserves it. Final
Yes.
Four appearance.
Yes.
Wow. That's incredible. But you know what? Hats off to him if they're and you know what? Even more so, hats off to the organization and the university
Mm-hmm.
that will let them continue
Exactly.
to do what they like to do, and it seems to be like their mission in life for both of those. Let's go through the Major League Baseball scores before we have our next time out here. Let's see, from last night, the Reds shut out the Cubs last night, 9-0, 19 hits last night for the Cincinnati Reds on the road. I would like to go back and see the last time they had 19 hits and the last time they had 19 on the road, even to go along with that. Cubs somewhat disappointing, 13-13 at home this season, 22-28 overall for the Cubs. Reds 22-29, 8-15 away. Reds got off to kind of a fast start, but it fizzled pretty quickly last night. But it says, which green is this? Hunter green?
Yeah.
That's a shade of green, isn't it? Hunter green.
Hunter Green.
6 scoreless innings as the
he's
Reds
supposed to
pound
be
the
a
Cubs.
Phenom that they're saying going to be good down there.
I remember his
pushed-
name during
pushed
during
him
draft
early,
time.
you
I don't
know,
remember
but-
where he came out of.
Come out of high school
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I thought, yep.
I believe he was the number one pick.
Yep. White Sox beat the Tigers. Speaking of hits, White Sox gathered 17 hits last night in that win in Detroit. Although Detroit's a much better team than they've been,
They have been.
over the last few years. It's
They
just
have.
3 games below 500. 12-3 White Sox win last night. It says, go ahead.
Would you say 3 games below 500?
Detroit
in
is.
a division that's went at that is they're close.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, they last week they were in second place.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they probably are still in second place, are the Tigers. Who's the manager of the Tigers?
guys at Houston before the one that got suspended. Hinch.
Is
AJ Hinch.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it wasn't. What was the old guy that was a manager there? He's a manager in Pittsburgh. Is it Jim something?
It's Leland.
Leland.
Jim
I
Leland.
love Jim
Jim
Leland.
Leland.
Still smokes cigarettes in the dugout.
He old.
I guess he's the last one. that I remember.
My favorite
smoking in
the dugout was Earl Weaver.
Jim Lever, yeah.
Earl Weaver,
Full
good.
pack. That's what
Full pack.
what the players called Earl Weaver, full pack.
I don't know. The best might have been Keith Hernandez because
he's
a player.
Smoke a whole pack before the game was over.
Yeah,
Full pack.
I've seen a baseball card or something somewhere. It's got Hernandez with the heater hanging out of his mouth there.
Well, there's an old years ago, an old Sports Illustrated cover. Richie Allen, Dick Allen, but it was
Dick Allen.
Yeah.
Showed it, that was the year he had his run for a
Triple Crown.
I don't think he got it,
Right.
but it showed a picture.
He was smoking.
He was walking. He was
That
walking
boy
down.
was smoking.
Walking down the middle of the dugout, had a cigarette in his mouth, walking.
Hey, it used to be nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
No.
Lynn Dawson's famous picture, sitting on a bucket or something on the sideline,
Yeah.
waiting on his turn to go back in.
Yeah.
He's smoking a cigarette,
Yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to
that's iconic.
calm the nerves a little bit before I get back in there
There you
and
go.
quarterback his football. That may be the most famous, other than the Marlboro Man himself.
Yeah, that's
Lynn
probably
Dawson may be the most
Lenny
famous
Dawson.
smoking picture I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay, man, they just continue to get it done. 9-3 last night over the Dodgers in the interleague action. The Padres beat the Yankees last night 5-1. The Orioles lose to the Rangers. I'm starting to believe here
Second best record in baseball.
that the Rangers might not be. They might be the best team. I can't push Tampa aside yet, but they have not played like they did the first
and they
month.
need to keep playing. You know, if they can hold DeGrom off as long as they can, they need him. They need him in the. You know, if they can get to the playoffs for then.
Right.
You know, that's
32-18, 16-10 on the road, 12 runs, 13 hits last night. Corey Seager, our very own North Carolina native, hit a grand slam. The Northwest Cabarrus graduate, Corey Seager hits a grand slam in an 8-run fourth inning.
Yeah, Baltimore was up like 1-0 because Rushman hit a home run, and then they had that 8 or 9 run ending.
I got two questions here I would like to know the answer to, and we got thousands, no, hundreds anyway, of researchers. What's the biggest inning ever, run-wise, by a team? Most runs ever scored in an inning. And the other part of that would be even harder. What team scored the most runs in an inning and lost?
Wow.
Tough.
Lost the game. I'd like to know the answer to
This
that.
belongs
But
on
most
trivia night.
Most runs in an inning. What would you guess the most runs in an inning would be? You think anybody's ever scored 20? I bet they have.
I bet they have.
At some point in time.
I
Yeah.
bet they have.
Some point in history, yeah.
I wouldn't think 30.
No,
but I wouldn't
that's
rule it
hard to
out.
conceive of.
I can
30.
remember years ago. I mean, I was a kid. The Cubs playing. I don't remember who. Dave Kingman.
Batted 4 times?
Yeah, he had like 4. Yeah. He had like
One
three home
inning,
runs,
right?
4 home runs, like
In an inning?
14 RBIs. I mean, yeah.
In an inning?
No, it wasn't
Okay.
an inning. It was,
Yeah.
but I think he hit home runs in the same inning.
Yeah. It's probably happened too. I never recall anybody batting 3 times in an inning, but I bet it's happened.
Probably has, yeah.
You know, I mean, I bet it's happened. And, but yeah, those would be, that's some real trivia right
Yeah,
there.
it is.
Because, you know, and much as I hate it, I wouldn't want the answer to go back to 1915. You know, I want something that
That you
that's
can more relate to.
Yeah, since the 50s anyway. Since the 50s or 60s, I'd like to know, because the game has changed. I mean, let's face it, the game has changed through the years.
Yes.
Just like I asked you guys last week, I don't know if who's the most famous pitcher to never win the Cy Young Award. It's Cy Young.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said that. I was sitting here running.
Yeah, they didn't hand him his own award, although they probably should have, year after year.
But he had over 500 career wins.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep. Yeah, what pitcher's on pace to match that?
Not in this.
He hasn't been
baby.
born yet, that's
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
Nobody on pace to win 300 anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
hasn't been born.
Although somebody got their 400th save last night.
Kimball.
Kimball.
So that's happened twice this year.
Yeah.
Kenley Jansen
Yep, Kenley Jansen.
got his about 3 or 4 weeks ago,
Yeah, and he's 401 because they showed last night after Kimball he's 400.
and he's not been the same since.
He ain't been
He's not been the same since the Contreras incident at the plate. Were you
Right.
watching the night that
Yes.
Contreras was playing mind games with
Yeah.
him? Kenley lost that. He lost that battle.
Yeah.
And they lost the very next night too. He blew saves 2 nights in a row. Very unlike
You were
him.
talking a while ago about Tampa winning again. They told last night, I just saw it was on Quick Pitch. I don't know how many home runs they hit last night, a couple. So they'd hit 99 home runs already this year. And they've played what? Have they played 50 games?
50 games, less than 50.
So
That blew my mind. 99 home runs. That they hit a couple last night, and the last one that was hit last night, they said it was their 99th home run this season.
So okay, if the Bronx Bombers are in New York, we have got to find a nickname for this Tampa team before we go off the air this morning. So everybody pitch in. People that are listening, text it. What Tampa's hit 99 home runs already. Are you going to call them the Tampa Thumpers? I don't like that because it's TA and TH. But I mean, come up with something that or the Ray. You can put Ray. But Tampa, there's got to be something good with Tampa to be. Bronx Bombers. You see where I'm going there. The Tampa Thunder maybe, but
maybe.
But there again, it's still TA and TH. I don't know what I'd go with there for their nickname. But the funny thing is, not many of them you can name.
No.
That are when it was the
name
Bronx Bombers, you could name the entire
them by name.
9, but not with the coverage Tampa gets. You can't name them. I thought the Cardinals had come to life. They seem to have cooled back off just a little bit. They're 23-30 now. They lose to the Guardians last night in Cleveland by a score of 4-3. I never did finish Texas. Texas beat the Orioles 12-2, and that's a pretty good Orioles team that they beat like that on the road last night. Still would not be shocked if Baltimore, who's having their best season in a long time, they still one game better. They're still a half a game better than the Rangers.
Well,
as far as record.
And you look at it. We talking right before, talking about how good Tampa's been. Baltimore's not far behind them. What, 3 games, 3.5?
They are.
I mean,
they
so
have
they're,
hung in there.
they're right
best
there.
record.
And they've been more consistent.
And
than Tampa.
Tampa hadn't had that. There's some point in time in your season when you're gonna have a lull.
Yes.
And they hadn't had that yet.
Yep.
That's and.
Yep. And Orioles stand right on their heels.
Can you name a former Oreo great who still broadcast Oreo games?
Jim Palmer. You think I don't watch any Oriole games?
Okay, I was just.
I love them. Jim Palmer and Ben McDonald.
Yep.
Ben McDonald is one of my favorites. Yeah. He's really good at what he does.
There's another former Oriole.
And whoever their play-by-play guy is, have you listened to them on TV? Have you watched any of listen? Yeah. You'd think it's Joe Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounds a lot like Joe Buck. Whenever he's doing.
I know. I don't know his name, but
I thought Joe Buck's not now doing Oriole games. Surely he's got too many other irons in the fire. So, and no, it wasn't him. But boy, the guy sounds like him. He could pass.
Well, the single inning record is held by a team.
Somebody give it to you.
Heart. Yep.
Yeah, the Red Sox. How many we score?
17
against the Yankees. Tell me it's against the Yankees. 17 is the most.
It's against the Tigers. 1953.
53. I would have thought that somebody had scored 20.
I would have thought 20. I would have.
So, who provided you? You're not going to give them credit?
Yeah, baseball fan by the name of Jennifer.
Jennifer gives us that. Well, good.
Listener.
That's 17. I would have thought
53. You said.
Yep. I do not remember that one. Cannot say that I do remember that.
1953. Thank you for that.
17 runs in an inning by the Red Sox against the Tigers. All right, the Braves go down last night. They lose to the Phillies. How about this? You guys mentioned this earlier. Kimbrel on the other side now, getting the save. Getting the save for the Phillies.
No, wait a minute, guys.
6-4.
One caveat on that. That's the modern record. But in 1883,
yeah, that's what I was afraid
the
of.
Chicago White Stockings beat the Detroit Wolverines in a game. They scored 18 runs in an inning.
Okay.
So, but
I like the modern day record a little better.
Modern day record a little better.
And I wonder who's done it since the 70s. You know, when I really followed baseball, started following baseball a lot closer at that time. Braves go down 6-4 at home last night to the Phillies. The Giants, another team with 19 hits last night.
Hey, my Giants.
They've been playing good, Mike. They have.
I'm not displeased lately. I mean,
26-25, Mike.
They're above 500.
They are above.
They're what, third place?
Yeah.
But you're talking about the Dodgers and the The Diamondbacks have been playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we put a stop in that last night.
I'm just happy to be
It's all the wrath
500.
of Sales. Sales finally.
Yeah, he's
he's
pitching
getting
pretty
back
good.
on. Yeah, just need to work. I think that's.
Giants over the Brewers. It was 15-1 in that game. 19 hits to 2. That'll get it done. The Blue Jays 27-25, 3-1 last night over the Twins. Are the Twins still in first place?
They are.
The last place Blue Jays.
Look at the reg. Yeah, they were
would be in
showing
first
that,
place.
Right.
The last place Blue Jays would be in first place if they were in the Central. How about that?
That's what they were saying, and said there's 10.5 back in their own division, and they'd be in first place if they was in the Central.
Yep. We'll be yelling for realignment. Let's get some realignment going. How about this? Kansas City Royals last night, 10 runs, 13 hits, only to lose to the Nationals, who had 12 runs, 15 hits in that win last night. That's a game. That one didn't get done in 2 hours and 30 minutes, not with 22 runs. Mets over the Rockies 5-2. Was the Angels falling to the Marlins. Boy, the Angels didn't have any problem with our Red Sox, Lenny, this week. Yep, got the brooms out. The Marlins defeated them last night, though, 6-2. 16 hits for the Marlins. Red Sox rack up 14 hits last night. Chris Sale, as Lenny said, gets on the mound and ends the Red Sox losing streak, 7-2 over the Diamondbacks. Houston, as long as Houston has the bulk of their roster, they're still my pick to make it to the World Series every single year. They just got to get in the playoffs, and then they're trouble. They are trouble. They play so well.
Get there. I agree.
29-21 are the Astros. They beat the A's last night. The future Las Vegas A's last night by a score of 5-2. And the Pirates win in Seattle last night by a score of 11-6 over the Mariners. And got to mention Cal Raleigh. He's still playing at a very nice pace, having a good season for the Mariners, the Smoky Mountain High School.
Which team
product.
hit 7 homers last night? I heard that on the way up here.
Well, it can't be a game that was 5-2. I mean, it's not likely to be the Red Sox who won with 7 runs. Yeah. There were a lot of runs scored last night. Solo homers in the 4th straight game. Power the Marlins, but that couldn't have been them. They only scored 6 runs.
Yeah, it wasn't them.
It was the Pirates.
Was it the Pirates?
It was like 13 to something, wasn't it? Was that
11-6?
Here it is. McCutchen sparks record-tying home run barrage as Pirates sink Mariners 11-6. So
that was it.
So what was our what record?
7 long ball.
Record tying. What record did they tie?
Franchise.
For a franchise? Yeah. Okay.
Their franchise.
Yep.
They were telling, I believe that was last night, McCutchen, did he bat leadoff last night?
Yep.
He had a leadoff home run and said he had done it like sometime. It wasn't like 3 or 4 people ever done that. Lead off left.
He's done 21. I've done it 21 times.
Yeah.
He's done that 21 times?
Mm-hmm.
Let off the –
Yeah.
They were at home, so he didn't lead off the game, but he did lead off. Weren't they at home? Or have I got that wrong?
I believe they were. I believe they were.
They were in Seattle.
Okay, that's right. That's why it's the last one scored here. So he did lead off the game. I always remember Bobby Bonds doing that a lot.
I heard this the other day, and this shows you McCutchen has not get enough credit. He's got the 3rd most hits in a career all time as a Pirate.
Wow.
You believe that?
That's a lot of good players.
Like, he went over 1,500 as a Pirate. He's got more than that. He's got like just over 2,000, but he got over his 1,500 hit.
Lenny, young kids today wouldn't realize how dominant the Pirates were. How they were always good.
And you know who was number one? We all know that it was Clemente, had 3,000. Who would be the second choice? Who would you?
Second choice, Madlock.
No, it wasn't him. He wouldn't. And probably because he wasn't there the whole time. I thought the same thing.
The one that popped in my mind was Dave Parker too, but
he wasn't.
He split time. He played the Reds as much as he did the Pirates, I think.
You know him. He was there the whole time. He's kind of the grandfather of the team.
Yeah. Stargell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stars was like 20. He had
Stars
like
was great.
2,200
I
something.
thought you were going to go back to Dick Grote
It was-
or something like
It
that.
was
Didn't he? Wasn't he a
3,000
pirate?
Clemente was 3,000. Stars was 2,200 and something.
Right.
And McCutcheon was 1,503.
You can almost name the pirate lineup because they had Madlock,
And-
McCutcheon.
Yeah.
At one time, they had
Al-
Rennie Stennett
I-
at second, and
I
one
really
time they
thought-
had Dave Cash.
I really thought Al Oliver
second.
might have been in there too.
Yeah,
Al
Al
Oliver.
Oliver.
Al
he wasn't.
Oliver, I follow on Twitter and
Yeah.
don't know why. I just saw something one day I liked.
But that just blew my
he's,
mind.
He's on
that,
Twitter.
that he was number, and I thought, well, he needs more credit than he's ever got. To if he's the third all-time hitter for the Pirates in their franchise history.
Yes. Yeah, and he how many years was he gone?
Yeah.
I mean, he was different teams
Yeah,
there.
it was about 5 years in there.
Yeah, that he did not play
And that
for
was the
them.
question they would bring up. Was he
And they
not-
don't count it that way, do they? Career hits as a not just as a Pirate. Was it
No.
counted that way, or was it just counted
Yeah, it was-
as a Pirate?
That was as a Pirate,
Yeah,
1503, but he's got like just over
Interesting.
2,000
Interesting.
total. So that's 500 hits scattered with other teams.
Are the Pirates the only team to ever have all three outfielders make the All-Star team at the same time? Because didn't Bonds and Van Slyke and Bonilla all make the All-Star team?
Maybe
And
right.
Could be.
I mean, and I don't remember another. I can't remember another. It's probably happened, but a team having all three outfielders. I mean, nowadays you might make it's like the Pro Bowl. You know,
Right.
you might be the 15th ranked quarterback, but you might get the Pro Bowl because everybody else denies it. Don't want to go
But that
play in
just
it.
blew my mind. I thought of all the players that have played at Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
good players.
Yeah.
Like you said.
And who was the one that hit the
Me and you, the
game-
Pirates, you and I, we all know are not the Pirates.
statue? I've seen it out front of the stadium. He hit the home run that won the World Series, beat the
Mazeroski.
Yankees. Yeah,
Bill
Bill
Mazeroski.
The shot
Another,
heard around the world.
yeah, another long time
Yeah.
player in Pittsburgh. We got to take a timeout. Appreciate you tuning in this morning to Sports Talk. Thanks to Lenny as well for being here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flip through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Western Steer Family Steakhouse in Newton has the best food around. Their buffet is like no other: fried chicken, meatloaf, baked chicken, beef tips with peppers and onions, pintos and macaroni cheese, green beans, yams, and the best salad bar around. Hours of business Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Western Steer Family Steakhouse, 334 Southwest Boulevard, Newton. Call for takeouts at 704-325-3926. Like them on Facebook.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton. Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
For where two or three have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10 and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
KL Insurance, Lincoln. Call 704-732-4646 or visit KLinsurance.com for all your insurance needs.
Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincoln. Dr. Cloninger's pedigree originates from his father, mother, and uncle and continues with his brother and cousin. The name is an icon in the field of dentistry. Dr. Cloninger has dedicated himself to his patients and community and continues to lead by example. He has heard his whole life, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to sustain the family name and proceed by offering the best reasonable treatment possible. Dr. John Cloninger III, 904 Doncha Drive in Lincoln. Call 704-735-0765.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Sports Talk. Second half, unofficially. It's almost 9:20. Running a little behind this morning with our breaks, but we'll get caught up. Nobody has given me a nickname for the Tampa. I don't know what you would call them, man. The Tampa. The Tampa Bay Bullies. I don't know what you come up with for a team that's hit 99 home runs. I'm trying to think of what team has hit the most home runs in a season. You know, is that and what would that number be?
Tampa Bay Bombers.
Well, you know, you said you
That's
won't play
okay.
Bronx Bomb, but
Yeah,
Tampa
same
Bay,
thing there.
Tampa Bay Bombers, that comes across as
Yep. Rodney Willis tells us that another entire outfield made the All-Star game and Lenny and I should be ashamed. And that would be Jim Rice, Fred Lynn, and Dwight Evans.
Dewey.
Yeah, he taught me something else, and I was reading it because he said the Tampa Terrors.
Tampa Terrors.
Not Terriers now, but
Terrors.
Terrors. The Tampa
Not bad.
Terrors. You know what the newspaper is down
How about
there?
Tampa Titans? No, home runs.
You know what the newspaper is in Tampa, Mike? You a
The
newspaper
title?
guy? Yeah,
The title? I don't know.
Tribune.
Tribune. Okay.
So it's
Tampa
alliteration.
Tribune. It is.
The Tampa
I
Tribune.
love
Or
alliteration.
it used to be. I guess it's still the Tampa Tribune. I usually don't
Yeah, I think that's right.
change. But, I don't know if Tampa can keep up the kind of pace or not, but it's certainly nickname worthy. And maybe they've already got one, and I haven't watched enough of them to know what the sometimes usually it's broadcasters of that particular team.
Broadcasters or newspaper guys are
come
usually
up
the
with that.
ones that come up with these great nicknames throughout history.
Yep. Here's the funny part. I'm sitting here thinking, and the only one I can even think of is the Yankees Bronx Bombers and the Steel Curtain.
Steel Curtain,
which may be
great.
the most popular.
That's one of the great ones
of all times. We've been sitting here talking about Pittsburgh, and the Steel Curtain comes to mind. Doomsday defense. Dallas was Doomsday.
What was that great Minnesota defense with
Purple People Eaters.
Purple People Eaters?
Yeah.
That's right.
You say them, I might can remember them, but
Wasn't
I
it
just I
Rams
can't
with
just.
Fearsome Foursome.
It was.
Fearsome
Deacon
Foursome,
Jones,
Deacon
Merlin Olsen,
Jones,
and-
Merlin Olsen. That's right.
You got 3 of them.
Rosie Greer was
Rosie
he one
Greer?
of
Might have
Rosie
been.
Greer was one of them.
I can't remember who.
Well, it's 4. I think y'all named 4 together with Deacon Jones, Rosie Greer,
Fearsome Foursome.
Merlin Olsen,
Merlin Olsen.
and who am I leaving out?
I don't know. That's
Deacon Jones. Did I say Deacon?
Okay, how about that?
thought it
well, they
um,
had Coy Bacon in there, but I don't know if he is it. And then they had old Fred Dreyer too was in there.
Fred Dreyer was better known as Fred Dreyer, the actor on Hunter. Yeah,
Hunter.
I guess he wasn't better known.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name of it.
Now, he is a nutcase.
What was when Seattle had their big run? The secondary boom, something
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
different.
good. That's pretty good.
I don't know if I ever remember a NBA team. Did Boston have one during all those years that they were so dominant and stuff back in the Red Auerbach days?
Might have, but I don't.
It's surely associated with football, but there's others.
Yeah, baseball. I don't guess baseball gets them too much either, as far as that goes. Because
What's the best nickname for an individual pro athlete? I think Sultan of SWAT for Babe Ruth. I love that.
Well, to me, the best. Well, to me, you know what it would be over that? It would be Babe, because that's not his name.
Herman.
Yeah. Herman.
George Herman.
George Herman.
Ruth.
Yeah.
But to me, the best nickname is when you don't even know what the guy's name is.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people wouldn't know what Babe Ruth's name is.
Right.
You know, especially younger generation.
Hammer and Hank Aaron.
I like it.
Hammer
and Hank.
Say hey, Willie Mae.
See, now
Say
wonder,
hey, Willie Mae.
wonder who come up with those.
Say hey, kid.
Wonder who come up with those. Just
Probably
was it-
writers
yeah.
or broadcasters. Usually is.
And the say hey kid is why. Why?
I don't know that.
Why is he?
I don't know.
Did he say hey to everybody he saw? Everybody he ever.
Yeah.
Why was Willie? Why was Willie? Why was that Willie?
Very
We know
friendly-
why Hammer and
very
Hank.
friendly guy, right?
We know why Hammer and Hank, because he was hammering the baseball
That's right.
every time. I still can't get over the fact, we talked about this last week, that he's third on the hits list.
Yeah.
No.
You know,
Who would have thought?
you never see that again, because today's power hitters don't get 200 hits a season. You know, that's just amazing. He had that many hits, and at the same time, he was the all-time home run king.
At that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go back in time.
legit.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Shoeless Joe.
Yeah.
Shoeless Joe.
Well, there's been some basketball ones. There's been some NBA guys
Yeah.
have I can't get them right off the top of my head right now, but there have been some that
Well, we mentioned him earlier, George the Iceman. Gordon.
Iceman.
Yeah. Wilt to Steel.
Wilt to Steel.
Larry Legend.
Larry Legend.
Yep.
I don't even know if Michael Jordan
Well-
had one
well-
himself, but he's just
well,
Michael Jordan. I mean,
you was talking about Babe Ruth, Magic Johnson.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, Magic.
Well, if
is-
you go
that
real
is
names
Well,
are
if you
of
go
Hey,
back- yeah,
most people won't-
couldn't tell you
no,
what his.
not most people that were born after he played would not know that.
Would not know Irvine Johnson.
Irvin Johnson. Yeah.
Rodney says, I think y'all left out Lamar Lundy when you were mentioning the fearsome foursome with
Okay.
Rosie Greer, Merlin Olsen, and Deacon Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, we might have stuck somebody else in there. We put in the Fred Dreyer, the people that
Yeah.
came along later and played Jack Youngblood. Did you mention Jack Youngblood?
did
Oh, I
not.
forgot about
Jack
him.
Youngblood
Yeah,
was
Jack
he's a
Youngblood.
Hacksaw Reynolds.
Hacksaw Reynolds.
Jack
There's your
Hacksaw
nickname
Reynolds.
right there.
I love that
Hacksaw
one.
Reynolds.
Hacksaw Reynolds.
Hacksaw Reynolds.
Oh, that's a,
Hacksaw.
That's
that-
a good one.
it
I can
is.
remember they talked about a Jack Youngblood play of a broke arm. You know, not even a cast off.
I think Hacksaw Reynolds even did that, didn't he?
think
When he
he
went
did.
to the 49ers,
I believe
he
so.
might have even played in the Super Bowl
Jack-
with something
Jack
broke or missed
Hacksaw.
out of play. Now Monty won't take credit for this one. He said the Tampa Taters. Says the wife is what he said.
Well,
Tampa
Say,
Taters.
the Tampa Taters,
what he
hitting
called 'em.
taters. That's right.
They're hitting those taters.
I like it, and we got our alliteration with it.
Yep. Yep, you
Tampa
got your
Taters.
alliteration.
Sounds good. Congratulations.
Tampa Taters.
to the Mosteller family, because I think that's
Denver's Orange Crush defense of the late
That's
70s.
right, Orange
Now,
Crush.
Rodney I love it because Rodney's naming all his rivals. He's a Raider fan,
Orange
but he
Crush.
named Denver. He's a Yankee fan, but he named Red Sox. You know what? That's how you get to.
Tom Jackson.
That's why you remember him the most
Orange
when it
Crush,
comes
right?
against.
Tom Jackson, linebacker.
Yeah, he was a member of the Orange
Can you
Crush.
name the group that put out a song called Orange Crush?
REM.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get me on music.
I'm not going to get you. I'm going to get you on the music, am I?
Well, yeah, you can. I'm sure.
can.
You can. You can
I
stunt.
could go way back in the 60s.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't in the 60s.
No,
it was in the 90s.
That was in the 80s or 90s. Yeah.
Another one of those Athens, Georgia
Athens,
bands.
Georgia, yeah.
But
Whatever.
yeah, I like the nicknames that we're coming up with. It's I'm a Braves fan too. Also a Braves fan, says Rodney. He's also a Braves fan. I think everybody in this area has a little bit of Braves in them. You know, I mean, my dad took me to see the Braves since when I was 2 years old. We used to go to Atlanta to watch the Braves play.
Chief Nakahoma.
Chief Nakahoma was there. He was the mascot for many years with the real teepee set up out in left field.
Now it wouldn't be politically correct.
No. We would offend all the Nakahomas.
Yeah.
Even the chief. I can't remember. Now, speaking of mascots, this happened to me one time. I went to a Washington-Dallas football game in Texas in the 80s. Flew back, and flying back, the African-American man that dresses up like the Redskin sat right beside him on the flight home. Snored like a train the entire way. And the guy that was his Whistling Ray or something Ray, the cowboy mascot, is the one brought him to the airport and walked with him. And they spent all night out together after that Monday night football game.
Ray.
And he was on the plane with me, and still in uniform.
That's the reason he's snoring.
That's probably the only thing.
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm saying is the only thing he had on. I mean, the only thing. Well, I don't know if it's the only thing he had on, but no, he still had on the. That's probably the only thing he took. He probably didn't even take anything because he knew it was going to be the quick turnaround and go home. But yeah, the sat right beside the Indian for. I was actually on an aisle seat on one side, and he was on the aisle seat on the other. But yeah, he cranked her up pretty loud there for a while. I thought we was crashing a couple times, but it was just a snore from. He had a nickname. What was it?
I know. I can see.
Monty should know. What was the Indians' nickname for the Redskins? Because Whistling Ray, and wasn't it Whistling Ray, or have I got that wrong? But was the Dallas one, and hard to believe. I mean, they were just good friends. But yeah, I can't remember what they called of course, the Indian thing is long gone. Now the name back in the news for the Commanders.
Now you'd be in trouble.
Did you know the Commanders did not get a trademark on Commanders this week? They didn't get it trademarked, so now they think the new ownership may just change the name again to something else. All right, this is a good one here.
What should we go with this time if they do change it?
I don't know, but it needs to be. I want something you can have a mascot with.
I do too.
For a sports name.
Like
to me, the Magic don't get it. The Heat don't get it.
No.
I want.
These are intangible things.
It almost has to be an animal, you know.
Yeah,
but I want something that you can see. You can have a mascot. I know there's plenty of heat in Miami, but you can't. You can't. I guess they've got a picture of heat because they got the fire. But I'm just the Storm. Who's this? There's some. The Kraken even. I like the Kraken that Seattle went with their
Kraken.
Went with their. All right, I'm gonna ask you this one. Rodney gave me a couple here nicknames he liked. Do you remember Robert Parrish's nickname?
Chief.
The Chief.
The Chief.
Robert Parrish known as the Chief. Now I'm gonna ask you this one the opposite way. What baseball player was known as the Hawk?
Ken the Hawk Harrelson.
Well, he was, but that's not the one he's referring to. And my guess is that you're right. You're on the right track now.
The Cubs.
I'm guessing there's probably been quite a few named Hawk because that seems to be a popular nickname.
Well, speaking of Hawk, Hawkeye Whitney, basketball player for NC.
That wasn't his real name?
Charles
Whitney.
Yep.
Or maybe his real name was Hawkeye and they called him
Hawkeye
Charles.
Whitney.
Yeah, the nicknames flying off the
Andre
list
Dawson,
right now.
was that the one he was
Yes, you're
That
right.
was the
Correct there.
hockeyest thing
Andre
ever.
Dawson. Yes. Monty got it as well. Andre
Clyde the
Dawson.
Glide Austin.
Glide to glide. Yeah.
Wasn't there another Glide? The Glide in the NBA before Clyde came along in college. Wasn't there somebody in the NBA that they called?
Yeah, how about Drake?
and maybe
ever
I'm-
call Clyde Drexler the Glide? I don't know.
I don't know.
Not that I remember.
Gary
but,
Payton was the glove.
Clyde and Glide is just too easy, isn't it? It just
is.
rolls.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Just rolls right together. We want to mention this again just for the folks that slept a little late this morning, may not have got up. East Lincoln Lady Mustangs on their way to a state championship series where they'll be taking on Western Alamance next Friday and Saturday. Site to be determined. The site for that is going to be either NC State, Duke, North Carolina, Greensboro, or did I miss one? State, Duke, and UNCG. Looks like that's the only three you wrote down, so maybe there's just 3 sites. That'd be odd for it to be 3 because you'd think either 2 or 4. But congratulations, East Lincoln. They scored 2 runs last night in the bottom of the 5th to take a 2-0 lead and then hold off a rally, a 7th inning rally by Rockingham County.
Heck of a series.
Yep. Rockingham County, pretty good team, and I think they have a bright future because the pitcher
You said it was a freshman.
is a freshman.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Ava something. It goes by 3 names. Ava something. But to have a freshman, we know anybody that watches softball, same way in the college ranks, if you've got the dominant pitcher, you can go a long way.
You can.
You can go a long way. And both of those teams had that last night. Fortunately for East Lincoln, it was a senior battling against a freshman, and the senior came out on top. The last couple games, Corral for East Lincoln didn't record a lot of strikeouts, but had good defensive play behind her. And when they made good defensive plays, they won the games. They made a couple errors in the game they lost, and it cost them in game 2. But when they played good defense. But you are exactly right, man. Best individual nicknames, period. And he gives it to me, and it's one word.
Oh.
It's for the late.
Late?
The late. We lost him probably 10, 15 years ago. I'm gonna keep
Catfish
giving.
Dizzy Dean.
Catfish is good. Dizzy Dean.
Dizzy Dean.
Dizzy Dean.
No, I'm gonna keep giving you hints. Football, which we should have known with Butch because football is his favorite sport. Super Bowl winner. Running back.
Running back.
Oh, Sweetness.
Sweetness. With another nickname,
Walters.
Da Bears.
Yeah. Sweetness. That's right.
Yep. Best individual nickname, period, Butch says.
Wizard of Oz.
I tell you,
Ozzie
the
Smith.
Wizard. The Wizard, that's great, isn't it? He's named Ozzy. It just falls right in line there
I forgot
with
about
that one.
Catfish, Mike, when you said him.
Yeah.
I forgot about Catfish.
Catfish.
Nuxie, Phil Necro.
Chief Z. What is that, Monty? Then he's put mascot for the Redskins. Is that what you wanted?
That's probably.
Chief Z. I don't. You have to explain that one to me.
Maybe that was your
I don't
snore.
get that one.
Maybe that was your snore's name.
Chief Z. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
I
it
don't
is.
know.
Maybe it is.
Because
Yeah.
we couldn't name it.
That's what he's saying. Chief
Okay.
Z. I don't know that I've ever heard that.
I don't know.
Chief Z. And I've watched a lot of football games. And back in the day, if you watched a football game on Sunday at 1 o'clock, you were going to see the Redskins playing somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So, the longtime man in the stands. I guess that's the mascot himself, Chief Z, because that also comes from Monty. This morning, I knew Monty or his brother Dean, one, would know because they have followed those guys religiously. Rodney says, I am thinking back to my youth and remember that pitcher. I think he played for the Tigers. bump talking. Yeah, that was the bird. He's been in the news again lately, and I don't know why. Mark the Bird Fidrich.
He died.
Is that what it was?
He passed away. It's been a pretty good while ago.
Mark the Bird Fidrich. That's right.
Yeah, he's been. I saw him in the news for some reason, though, like within the last month or so. I saw a story or something on him, but
he passed
he
away.
Talked to the baseball and did weird things like that when he talked to himself a lot while he was on the
William
mound,
Refrigerator Perry.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Somebody seen you that one or did?
No, it just came out of my head.
Fridge.
Yep, the Bears.
The fridge.
Yep, I like this
The
one.
Bears.
I like this one too. Baseball pitcher from the 70s. I'll give you that. And this one comes from Ned. I've always liked this one. Also, the name of a beer. How about that?
Name of a beer.
Yep. His nickname is also the name of a beer. Ned didn't put that. I just know that it's the nickname of a beer that's gotten more popular over the last 15, 20 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. His name's not Budweiser Odom, but
Blue Moon.
there you
Blue
go.
Moon.
John,
I gave you Odom.
John
what am I
Blue.
doing? I gave you
John
Odom.
Gave it
I messed up.
away. You gave it away.
I did give it away.
Blue Moon Odom.
I messed it up whenever I gave you guys.
No,
Here's an old.
Vita Blue
I
and
don't
Blue
know if
Moon.
you remember
Same-
Jim
same.
Mudcat Grant.
Jim Mudcat Grant, good one.
I do not. Tell me.
He played for the Pirates and the
This-
A's.
I mean,
he was a
the
relief
nickname
pitcher
sounds
mostly.
familiar. I've heard the nickname, but I couldn't tell you anything about him, what sport or anything.
He's baseball.
Jim
He's a
Mudcat
pitcher.
Grant, baseball.
Yep.
Jim Mudcat.
That's a good one. Blue Moon, yeah.
John Blue Moon Odom,
John
Macon,
Blue Moon
Georgia.
Odom.
That is one of the better. I mean, how in the world do you get that? I got nothing. I can't even think of how you would get that nickname.
John Blue Moon.
Maybe he lost every once in a blue moon or something.
He was a good one.
That good. That good. He was a good pitcher. That was on some of those A's teams that that dominated back in the 70s.
Yeah,
Didn't they win 3 straight World Series in the 70s and all against 3 different teams like the Reds,
Beat
the
the
Mets,
Reds and the Mets.
That's the 2 I remember.
And,
who else did they beat? It seemed like they won 3 straight. And they might have beat one of those teams twice. The Reds were real good back then too, so they might have.
Reds was always good, but couldn't win it until later on. That was because Baltimore beat them, before the A's made their run.
And speaking of the Reds, we've left out a. Rodney got me here. It's a good timing. Speaking of the Reds, we've left out a really good nickname for one of those guys in the area you're talking about.
I got a great nickname too. After you finish yours.
Well, go ahead. You can say yours.
No, and his family lives in Cherryville.
Charlie Hustle.
Yeah, Choo Choo.
Charlie Choo Choo Justice.
You're right on that one.
Charlie Hustle.
Two Charlies there together. How about that?
Charlie Choo Choo and Charlie Hustle.
There's a Charlie Choo Choo Justice Highway going into Cherryville.
Yes, it is.
150.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Charlie Hustle. I forgot.
And I see his daughter all the time because her son plays for Cherryville High and also Post 100.
Fowler.
Will Fowler.
Will Fowler.
Yep. How about that? We got to take a time out, our final time out of the morning. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk, but we got to take a break. Get the, as they say, what is it called? Pay the bills. We'll be back here. More
piper.
Sports Talk in a moment.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flipped through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See the page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Western Steer Family Steakhouse in Newton has the best food around. Their buffet is like no other: fried chicken, meatloaf, baked chicken, beef tips with peppers and onions, pintos and macaroni cheese, green beans, yams, and the best salad bar around. Hours of business Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Western Steer Family Steakhouse, 334 Southwest Boulevard, Newton. Call for takeouts at 704-325-3926. Like them on Facebook.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton. Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Kale Insurance, Lincoln. Call 704-732-4646 or visit kaleinsurance.com for all your insurance needs.
Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincoln. Dr. Cloninger's pedigree originates from his father, mother, and uncle and continues with his brother and cousin. The name is an icon in the field of dentistry. Dr. Cloninger has dedicated himself to his patients and community and continues to lead by example. He has heard his whole life, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to sustain the family name and proceed by offering the best reasonable treatment possible. Dr. John Cloninger III, 904 Doncha Drive in Lincoln. Call 704-735-0765.
Turn those on. Welcome back. Final segment of our show this morning, and I mean, the nicknames have really taken off. That's been the.
We've come up with 8 or 10 during the break.
Yeah, and 8 or 10 more popped up on my phone. I think maybe more than that. I'll give you the nickname. You tell me who they are, and these come from Rodney here, and then I'm gonna get to Ned in a second.
All right.
The Minister of Defense.
Gosh.
I know
that.
I love it. He was known for being a preacher, but he also played on the defensive line. He has left us as well.
Joe Green.
No. Mean Joe Green.
Joe Green.
Yep.
Minister of Defense.
Minister of Defense. Known for being a preacher. You guys know who it is. He even played a year or so in Charlotte, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if he did or not, but I know he played.
Reggie White.
Reggie White, a long-time Eagle,
right.
and one
Reggie
Super Bowl winner with
Panthers. I thought. Now who?
Yeah, Reggie White.
Reggie White.
The Galloping Ghost.
Red Grange.
Red Grange. The Iron Horse.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig. Yeah. And Smokin'.
Joe Frazier.
Now, boxers more have nicknames than don't.
Yeah.
If you are a boxer, I mean that's probably the one place that there's an abundance.
Oh, without a doubt
of nicknames. We will go back to Ned now, and he says, don't forget the old Negro Leagues baseball, Cool Papa Bell.
Ooh, Papa Bale.
Cool Papa Bell.
The NHL 70s Philadelphia Flyers, known as, I remember this one.
NHL.
This is great too. It's named for where they played and their personality, I guess is what you would call it. This may stump you a little bit here because I wouldn't have come up with it. I'll just go ahead and tell you I wouldn't have come. I have heard it, and you guys know it too. The Broad Street Bullies
Broad Street Bullies,
was the
I do remember
which turned a lot of people. If you weren't living in Philadelphia, you hated the Flyers at that time. But that's what they want. They don't want they don't want any love. And then Ned says that Blue Moon Odom was also used by the A's as a pinch runner back in the day.
Good great athlete.
Richard Howell says his favorite nickname. I'll give you this much. He's from the Charlotte area.
Charlotte area.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And Charlotte is well known for being one of the I wouldn't say the birthplace of this sport, but it was a mecca.
You got to be wrestling.
Yeah, a mecca.
Nature Boy.
Nature Boy.
Nature Boy,
That is a
Ric
good one, man.
Nature Boy.
And that's again, wrestling goes along with because there were very few people that were Mike Powell or Lenny Anthony. I mean, you had a name, Black Jack Mulligan.
Black Jack Mulligan.
Yeah, that one always
Wahoo
stands.
McDaniels.
Yeah, right.
Wahoo.
If you were
Chief
into
Wahoo.
wrestling, you had a nickname.
Yep.
It had.
Well, Johnny Weaver didn't have a
That's what I was going to say.
was,
George
It
Becker.
was
either.
Johnny
George
Weaver and
Becker.
George Becker.
Yeah.
They were good guys.
Yeah.
And they didn't have
Yeah,
good
they
names.
didn't have.
Maybe that.
Paul,
you know
Paul-
what?
Paul Jones. I don't remember him ever
But
having
it still may not have been their name.
No, it probably would.
Probably wasn't.
Probably
no.
no.
It still may not.
Haystack Calhoun.
Haystack Calhoun.
I just
remember
roll
that.
them off like a
Andre the Giant.
Andre the
Don't
Giant.
forget that.
Wonder how he got that name.
I don't know. He was only 8 foot tall and 500 pounds.
My goodness.
Black Jack Mulligan.
The wrestlers are. I hated the guy, but loved the name, Black Jack Mulligan.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
That was. What was the Russian?
Yeah, what was Rush the Bolo?
Ivan Koloff.
Ivan Koloff.
And
Koloff.
Nikita Koloff.
Nikita Koloff.
And there's another
But
one. too.
it was something. It wasn't
Russian
just.
Bear.
Is that what it was?
I think
the
they
Russian.
called him the
Bear.
Russian
The
Bear.
Russian Bear.
He was born in South Carolina.
The Russian Bear.
I used to see those wrestlers all the time in Charlotte. Ricky Steamboat. I would see a lot, and Ric Flair.
Jimmy Snuka.
Yep. Here's a good one right here now. A lot of people, okay. This one gives you, this one right here gives you two nicknames. One for the team he played on that Ned did not list, but one that, this would be too easy if I give it to you this way, led tiny UNC Charlotte to a Final Four.
Cornbread
Maxwell.
And what was the nickname of the team at that time? Do you remember what they called Charlotte? I had a shirt with it on it. I had a shirt with it on there. It has something to do with their team color.
Mean Green.
Mean Green.
Mean Green.
I had a shirt that said UNCC Mean Green.
Cornbread Maxwell.
Those are some of the more famous nicknames. And I'm sure I'm surprised that it hadn't already lit me up with more. Here's one of my favorite ones, Nobby.
Nobby, there you go.
Are you awake there, Nobby? And I used to say if you lived in High Shoals, you had a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't live in High Shoals, didn't grow up in High Shoals, but everybody down there, like our buddy Steve Bird, everybody, all his brothers had nicknames. It was
That's also true of the town of Cherryville. Everybody
Is
has a
it?
nickname then.
What's yours?
Cool Breeze.
Cool Breeze, yeah.
Breeze.
Yeah. I was thinking Hot Air.
No. Yeah, we had a lot of guys.
Rodney gives me the wink on the Nobby. How'd you get that name, Nobby? If it can be told on air.
They
see,
say
rat, mole. I mean, usually named after
They
animals.
say Rodney Willis. You might have to think for a minute. You say Nobby, we know exactly who you're talking about.
Exactly. And Steve, it was bird, duck, yak, and I'm not sure if Ronnie, the other brother, the fourth member, in that of those siblings. I'm not sure if he had
Sound
one or
like
not.
That
Maybe.
sounded like the Uptons up in Northbrook. Rabbit, hog.
Oh Lord, that's good
There's
stuff.
another that had a
That's good
nickname
stuff
too.
right
Rabbit
there.
and hog. That's the
The
two
rabbit and
of
a hog.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
them. The Upton brothers.
Give me the rabbit, right? I don't know what will be called the hog. Let's see. Yep. Oh, Ned, I love the way you worded this. Dennis, no nickname. That's his new nickname now. Dennis, no nickname Tate from the UNCC Final Four team, still coaching at Cherryville High School.
That's right.
Yep, he was a member of that team as well. Remember where I watched that game? Well, I watched it at my grandparents' house in Cherryville, because it was and I'm talking about the game that wasn't they screwed by Marquette, by the coaches or something? Am I right, or have I got the matchups mixed up? Whitehead was a key player on the Marquette
Jerome
team.
Whitehead.
Jerome Whitehead.
He got the long pass, laid it in at
Laid
the
it
end
in
of the
at
game.
yeah.
But wasn't it a controversial play or
Well, there's
something?
a clock. Seemed like it's a clock issue.
Clock,
They thought
yeah.
maybe the clock
Yeah.
had run out.
They couldn't go look at it for 40 minutes on
Length
replay.
of the court pass
Back
and
then.
deep into
Yeah.
the lane area or
Right.
down on the low blocks.
Yeah. Otherwise, that next night would have been
Carolina.
The Monday night would have been
UNCC.
Charlotte and UNC, wouldn't
It
it?
would have.
Rodney says he got his nickname from West Lincoln Optimist Little League football coach Gene Sane. That's where that name came from. And how about how it stuck? You know what I mean? I mean, all these years later, that the nickname stuck. Richard says, tell Mike the best Cherryville nickname. Almost see if Mike's going to know who this is.
Okay.
Dag.
I should know that.
The best Cherryville nickname, Dag. The late Harold Blackwood.
Harold Blackwood. That's right.
The late Harold Blackwood.
That's right. He
Yep.
ran Blackwood's Grill.
Yeah. Well,
many
while
years.
we're speaking of
Here's
late
another
and
one.
nicknames,
Fly Daddy.
Fly Daddy.
Fly Daddy.
Exactly
Gary
where
Fly
it is.
Daddy
Fly
Holman.
Daddy
Yeah.
Holman.
Fly Daddy.
Yeah.
That's right.
I would say most people came to the baseball games didn't even know
Yeah.
Gary's
What Gary's
name.
name.
Fly Daddy.
You know,
Another.
Gary was a heck of an athlete at Cherryville. He played like 3 or 4 sports.
Right.
And played them well.
Yeah, played
Yep.
softball with Howard's Furniture a little
That's
bit
right.
too.
That's right.
That.
Fly Daddy. Yeah, he was a good
Fly
one.
Daddy.
Oh yes.
I remember at his funeral they played I Did It My Way, and
Yeah.
he did it his way.
Yeah. That's. Yeah. I remember him well. Remember him.
Daddy.
He was just a fixture.
Boozy
A
Dellinger.
fixture.
Boozy,
all
of
kinds of
course.
nicknames.
Yeah, Cherryville's just full of nicknames.
Still didn't get one. Ned hadn't give us what his nickname is, and he's up there all the time. It says when he played youth hockey, it was a stick boy for the 70s minor league Charlotte Checkers. He's given his nickname now. His nickname was Nugget.
That's Ned's.
Yep, when he helped with the Charlotte Checkers as
Ned
a
the Nugget.
yeah, Ned. It might have been Ned the Nugget. I don't know. Maybe he was Gold. I'm telling you, Gold. Who? You guys don't watch Seinfeld? Banyan.
I tell Ned, he's a riding the road hard yesterday when I was out there mowing the grass. Ned, I seen you pass 2 or 3 times.
Oh man! Don't forget East Lincoln softball making it to the championship round. A 2 out of 3 series coming up next weekend, Friday and Saturday. Site yet to be determined. Looks like those sites will be NC State, Duke, and UNC Greensboro.
Okay.
And Mike, I don't know what all the teams are that have qualified. We know Burns baseball also
baseball.
going to be doing the same thing.
Against South Granville.
I think I seen that's the logo. I think I did see T.C. Robertson or Roberson.
T.C. Roberson.
Always
They're the
good.
4A.
Always good. I can't remember the guy that went to the major leagues from that school.
I'll
It was
tell you,
an
one of them
outfielder.
was Cameron Mabin.
Cameron Mabin.
was
Yep.
definitely. I watched him play with
Yep.
Burns.
Yep, that's the one that I was trying to remember.
And you might remember
Cameron Mabin was
Darren
really good.
Holmes played for Atlanta.
Mhm.
I think the field's named after him.
Also
I
from
think
TC.
I think he throwed a bunch of money back to the school, and the field's named in his honor.
Then hats off to him because that's what it's all about. When you're able to give
Wes Henderson, also a winner.
Yeah, they've been solid all year, and I just kept thinking, they're going to get knocked off. They're going to get knocked, but they just continue to knock people off. That would be in the 3A, 3A baseball.
North Iredell beat North Iredell, didn't they?
Yeah, and North Iredell, what a story that was this year. Finished
5th
like
or 6th.
yeah,
in
sixth in the league
Western
and
Foothills.
won 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Before that's a good baseball conference.
It's pretty good.
Yep. No doubt about that. One thing before we go, here's your music trivia question of the day. You ready?
I bet I know who it's about.
It's not going to be about Tina Turner.
Oh, is it
and we've
not?
got to mention Tina
Got to
Turner.
mention
What was your favorite Tina Turner song? As time is.
It had to be Proud Mary.
Okay.
The way she did that one, it just.
Proud Mary and The Best. I like that one too.
What's Love?
And that
Like
was her
You?
favorite song.
Was it?
You're Simply the Best.
Simply the Best.
Yeah, that'd probably be mine. That would probably be mine.
Who else? What else? Private Dancer.
Private Dancer and
not Ned the
Hero.
Nugget. but
River Deep, Mountain High was one she did
Yeah,
with
and,
Ike Turner.
Not
We
Ned
Don't
the
Need a
Nugget,
Hero.
but Nugget Ned was his
Nugget
name.
Ned.
Nugget Ned. Hero was a good song. But here, real quick, see if you can get this. They have ranked here. Yardbarker has ranked. Remember we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The flip side of records.
Oh yeah.
What do you think ranks number one?
Flip side.
Yeah. What do you think ranks number one? What do you think was on the backside of Elvis Presley's "Don't Be Cruel"?
Hound Dog.
Jailhouse Rock. Hound Dog.
Hound Dog.
All right.
You
Good
ain't
job.
nothing but a hound dog.
Good job.
Which-
We might have that on a little LP.
That one ranked number one, and I don't know how in the world they rank these things, but that one ranked number one.
I'll tell you, the Beatles had some great flip side.
Oh, they did.
They
They're
did.
they're on this list over and over
Yeah.
and over.
Yes.
They really are. They're on the list
Yeah.
over and over.
Oh my
and over.
God.
They just happen to not be number one. Number two was Green Onions, Booker T and the MGs, and I don't know what it was on the
flip side of it.
other side of. Behave Yourself.
They used to call them B-sides.
Is,
The B-side.
Yeah. Yep. We talked about it a couple weeks ago because one of them. We talked about the Rolling Stones
the
one.
Honky Tonk Women, and I told
Honky
you.
Tonk
I had-
Women, the backside was you can't
last
always
time I
get
was
what
on
you
the
want.
show,
That's pretty solid.
I went down to look. I thought I'm gonna find that record and bring it to them, and I looked and looked, and I couldn't find it. But down at my dad's.
That's good stuff. We're about out of time. We appreciate Lenny coming in this morning for Brett. Brett should be back with us in here next week after his tropical
Oh, one quick
vacation.
thing. Can you name me a movie that Tina Turner actually appeared in and sang a song?
No.
Max.
Yep.
Mad Max.
Mad Max
I
Beyond
don't remember which
Thunder-
one it was.
Beyond
but
Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Mad Max Beyond
Butch
Thunderdome.
Parker says Nut Bush, City Limits.
That's a good
What?
one.
Yeah.
And that's really about where she grew up, Nutbush, Tennessee,
Which where she's born. Yeah.
where she was born.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Heard Nutbush.
Rodney said, real quick, let's see, our family went, there were some benders. Don't know if I can get to all that, Rodney. Gene used to say that I look like that big old hairy
Nugget, yeah.
SOB. That's what he's saying. How he got the Nobby nickname, I guess. So, I like it. And the name stuck. Still there today. For Lenny, Mike, David, see you next week.
Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincoln. Dr. Cloninger's pedigree originates from his father, mother, and uncle and continues with his brother and cousin. The name is an icon in the field of dentistry. Dr. Cloninger has dedicated himself to his patients and community and continues to lead by example. He has heard his whole life, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to sustain the family name and proceed by offering the best reasonable treatment possible. Dr. John Cloninger III, 904 Doncha Drive in Lincoln. Call 704-735-0765. Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincoln. Dr. Cloninger's